Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Members Only Live. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you're new to this channel, or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe, hit the bell notification icon and join button if you're obviously watching after the fact and would like to take part in these members only live streams. Now, I've had several computer issues today, so I'm running several test member only streams, and I do actually have a Discord and G+ panel full of people ready to be chit-chatting, and they're going to be abruptly interrupting each other any minute when I open all these lines. So with that, I'll hand over to whoever is in just Discord and G+, so you can enjoy their dulcet tones on this members-only live stream.
Means 11. Can make it more simple.
You can't keep up with it. No, you little jerk-offs.
Well, he's going to have to set up all kinds of nonsense to try and get his... Like, he literally tried to get me to agree to not interrupt when he strawmans. That's what he... Like, Eli, would you say that's a correct... would you... Yeah, when he came into Discord, would you say that's a correct summation of what he was trying to do?
Yes.
Yeah.
You did it to me.
He said, wait, hold on. I'm sorry. He said, if I do happen to strawman you, you can't interrupt me as I strawman you.
Word for word, verbatim.
What? Those were the words he used?
Nah.
What?
Yeah, that was
not so.
I don't know if he said that. I'm not going to co-sign that. I thought you were talking about.
I mean...
So what he said is that, are you going to keep on interrupting me like you did last year? And I said, if you're going to be using strawman arguments and red herrings, I will be, right? And he said, he tried to get me, and this is what I said a minute ago, he tried to get me to agree to not interrupt him, even if he does strawman. Which...
Well, well, there was a third person in there saying that would be fair, which it was like,
that's
to be fair, somebody strawman and you, it does make sense to stop them. He also said that. I mean,
mind you, there's zero defense on his behalf right now, as all the accusations are being laid upon him.
But he did have a helper in there the other night at some point, because he had someone with him that was jumping in over the top at one point to say some stuff. But it was ridiculous. It was like, how could you possibly have a debate with someone and agree that you're not going to interrupt them if they strawman or red herring? Why would you do that? But that's what he was expecting me to agree to. And I just said, basically got to the point of, you don't red herring, you don't strawman, then there'll be no need for me to interrupt.
Well, who likes to make themselves implicit of going to admit to saying they're going to give straw mans and red herrings if they're a legitimate debater and they're trying to make their facts without trying to convolute, anything like that or conflate any, misconception. Why would that's like he's admitting, oh yeah, I'm gonna BS around and throw my weasel wizardry on you, but I don't want you to interrupt while I do it.
This is what he specifically said. He said what he does in his debate, he just says straw man and then lets them finish and then addresses it afterward. Instead of like stopping them, he's like, you could just say straw man and then address it.
Oh, straw man, baseless assertion fallacy for 20 minutes, baseless assertion fallacy, and then you can go back and deal with him. Fuck off. I'll kick your teeth in. How about that?
He also tried to correct me. But see, this is the thing. He also tried to correct me on an appeal to the future fallacy.
One second, just one sec. Please, no swearing, please.
Okay.
He was talking about if this and that hypothetically in the future, it was to do with vitamin C and stuff, right? That came up, and it was something around the scientific method. And I said, you're appealing, that's a hypothetical appeal to the future fallacy. And he said, it's not an appeal to the future fallacy. He tried to explain to me what an appeal to the future fallacy is. Well, he was appealing to the future. Like, that's what an appeal to the future fallacy is. I was trying to redefine it and make it out as if he wasn't doing that.
Yeah.
Well, I did also say to him, I said, I'm always aware when I'm strawmanning someone. I said, would it be fair to say that you are always aware when you're strawmanning someone? And he said, well, I wouldn't always be aware. That's what he said. It's like, no, you're very aware when you know. I mean, when you get someone's argument wrong, you might be arguing from the wrong direction. Yeah, that can happen. But when you're strawmanning someone, it's an intentional thing. You know you're doing it. I know if I'm strawmanning someone. I know it. So don't be telling me you don't know when you're strawmanning someone. That's a load of rubbish.
And again, no defense from the assailant.
Did we figure out the purpose of Bev's visit or what?
Yes. I summarized it earlier. Weren't you here?
Might have been restarting my computer.
All right, here's the summary. He's a retard.
Okay.
I think Bev has been in talking to Flatside when Flatside makes videos about the upward rising earth. Now, I don't know if Bev is just trolling or whatever, because I've heard him mention something on his own channel about a certain argument that's being suppressed. He didn't say what it was. He just alluded to it, and the people with him, Emma and them, knew what he was talking about. Now, I don't know what it was, whether it's an ether thing, an upward rising earth thing, or some other thing. I don't know. So, but I don't see why Bev would entertain an upward rising earth or ether, yet he won't entertain celestial navigation. That makes no sense. So it could just be a troll on his part. He could just be trolling. You can't trust it because you never get any details. It's always things are alluded to on the Try Thinking show. But, and you could jump in thinking, pre-assuming they're talking about A when they're actually talking about C, not even B. Do you know what I mean? Or they can switch it if they want. You never know what they're saying.
What's going on? Why have we got one after the next people who are seemingly on our side, lining up to attack us? What's going on?
I love it.
Well,
It's about time. Let's deal with all of them all at once.
Yeah, it's called reaching critical mass, and it's
Yep.
means that we're reaching the next level, and everybody feels like suddenly their standard is at a threat because we're raising the bar, and so this is what happens.
Are you forgetting I predicted this and nobody
So
listened
what?
to me?
Oh God! So what you do, right? You get down, take cover, and launch friggin' bullets in all directions.
Amen, brother.
You ever done that before?
Can't say I have.
It's so no. I'm talking about literally. It's so satisfying.
You mean foxhole?
At the range, I can only shoot in one direction. So
You need a new range.
You don't want a foxhole. You can't get out of them.
I didn't say foxhole. Keep your butt down and launch
Arwen.
friggin' bullets. Why do you have to say Arwen in the middle of my statement?
Hi.
because he was saying Arwen said foxhole.
I didn't need a name. Do you
Yes,
think I
Daddy.
needed a name to make my point?
Yes.
No, Daddy.
Definitely.
Sorry.
Asking, like, do you mean a foxhole?
No,
Meaning
Arwen.
from the foxhole. From the foxhole.
No, I did not mean. Oh my God, this is what I'm talking about. Do you guys frequent, Adderall drips?
With
Hey,
lead
that's
tips.
why I'm asking, because I'm not sure. We don't need Adderall drip here. I'm just asking a question for clarification. Let's move on.
Arwen said, "Keep your Adderall drip." Just asking for a fucking question. Sorry.
Steve Rose, you familiar with central lining Adderall?
I'm not familiar with Adderall. Hey.
You're familiar with central lines, right?
Yes.
Fair enough.
Fair
We
enough.
got to do it We need to do a 2.0 of the panel. Come on now.
And I'm not familiar with shooting in any direction, hitting enemy and friendly fire. You know, I usually aim at the target. But if you want to stand up with the enemy, then I guess I see your point. You're going to get it too.
Listen, there's gonna be some friendlies go down. It's just the price of doing business. Okay, you just gotta, like I said, you gotta keep your butt down and launch friggin' bullets.
And what if you run out of bullets?
No, you don't run
Arwen,
out.
there's never. We don't run out.
We never run out of bullets. Are you kidding me?
This is
Oh,
America.
so it's not literal. Okay. Metaphorically launch bullets. Yeah, metaphorically we can launch bullets forever. Okay.
No, I wasn't speaking metaphorically.
Physically, America's gonna
Now
launch bullets
everybody's
forever.
finally speaking my language.
Where do you stack your infinite ammo?
In the basement on pallets that we don't tell the feds about.
Facts.
It's gonna run out.
I like that. It's been a fun Friday.
Not really.
We're still here.
No.
I would have loved if this had been the third week in a row that the computer didn't crash. But no, I'm going to be spending the rest of the weekend testing this stupid computer again.
No.
There we go. Life. It might not take that long. I'm already halfway through. You know, I've introduced one thing at a time to see if it causes the fault. So far, I've introduced 2 of the 3 things. Everything seems fine. Crash! Everything fails.
But is it that bad of a crash if it does crash and you're able to come right back on? Like, isn't that because I know there are times that it's crashed and you just disappear. Like it was done for the day.
That was yesterday. Yeah, that yesterday we wouldn't even load to BIOS, so it was like call the tech guy. I can't even get it to turn on, and he just took me through what I watched him do in the shop last time I took it into him when it did this, because it crapped the bed like it did when the GPU completely failed. But there we go. Like I say, he took me through it over the phone pretty much. So I've got it to this stage. I don't think it'll take me that much longer to get it back to normal operation again. Then hopefully I'll get 3 months.
You know what? There was a question there that was posed by I think QE. No, was it Into the Break that was speaking with us earlier? Well, I don't know, whoever. Anyway, it was like no, it was Arthur Flack. It was like, what have we learned? You know, on here, I've learned a lot hanging with you guys, man, and I've learned, I've recollected and kind of reminisce back to the things, of the basic things that y'all talk about, like, oh yeah, but I was cutting up in a clown. But anyway, what I really did learn that there are actually people out there that believes that rain's not falling, earth's just rising. Just had to squeeze that in there.
Hey, original. Let me tell you this.
That's going on
I found
forever.
Go on, Arthur. Go ahead. Arthur.
I found many Witsit and David Weiss and Jaren fanboys here in India.
Okay.
And they are just parroting the same stuff that all these guys are parroting. And I have such a beautiful opportunity that the same thing what Nathan is doing with his 25K subscribers to a big YouTuber like someone Jaren with having 150K subscribers. So I am doing that on a small scale here in India. I am calling out.
You're like
I'm the QA of India.
You're like an Indian Nathan.
Yes, I've been watching you, Arthur. I saw you on camera, by the way. You're a handsome fella. Big, thick, bushy hair, big, thick, bushy beard, really big smile. Handsome fella.
Is that the first time that you looked at me?
Yeah, that's the first time I'd seen you. And I was quite surprised because I thought you'd be a lot older, but you're a really young guy. Just a really young, handsome guy. So I was like, oh, I wasn't expecting that.
Tell him you got an old soul, Arthur.
Thank you.
Damn, you sound like you're enchanted.
Yeah, but that's terrible.
Almost as
'cause
much
there's
as
a
I
lot
was
of
with
people-
chocolate.
Hold on,
Almost.
There's a lot of people. Holy shit! There's a lot of people. There's a lot of people in India, flat out there. And if you're saying they're all parroting that nonsense, then you better get busy.
Not what he said.
I'm talking about the flat earthers here in India. So even among the flat earthers, there are so many who parrot all those things, and I have been teaching them, so to say, the other side of the story, the FED panel story and ballbuster story for so long, but it has all fallen on deaf ears. But now the time of reckoning has come when they are the ones who are sharing your video and saying that those of you who follow Witsit and Jaren, please beware. See, they get destroyed here. And I am the one liking those posts.
So
Nice.
you're,
How
often do you
is
run
it,
those interactions?
is it Punjabi you're speaking in when you're speaking your native tongue? What's the language you're speaking typically?
Hindi. It's Hindi.
Hindi.
And there are many different
Okay, so
dialects
when-
of Hindi.
When you're speaking Hindi in your videos, I'm watching them. Now, obviously, I don't speak Hindi, but occasionally you'll hear something that's very specifically referred to by title, but has two English words. So it'll be a string of Hindi, and then like something like elevation angle will just pop out at you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
All their technical language and physics and science-based language is all in English. It's brilliant because I literally can listen to his show talking and kind of follow what they're talking about when they're
Exactly.
actually talking about flat Earth.
And the
Because
tone. And the
words come
tone.
true.
Right? You almost can say, oh, share your pain. By the tone of the response. Even though I don't speak Hindi, you can hear the pain in their voices too. It's epic. It's brilliant. Good fun listening.
What I
Yes.
find in Arthur, considering that the nation of Hindu, says that they went to the moon, what kind of resistance you yourself and others, whether they parrot, Jaren, or whatever, against the masses, do they believe in this, or are they mocking it and ridiculing this claimed lunar landing that recently was broadcasted?
So when I was talking about people following Jaren, I was obviously talking about flat earthers. But if you talk about the masses, obviously the frenzy is at another level after this landing. And yeah, flat earthers are getting attacked more than before after these landings. And here we are telling them just look at the videos, but that's the whole point. ISRO has the audacity to not even write anything like artist illustration or something to that effect, which says that this is not an original video. So there you would find millions of Indians who actually think the cartoons which they are showing are real videos.
Really?
And
Yes,
don't
if
have
you
to
want-
surprise.
I don't
Let
believe
me
that.
paraphrase. Let me paraphrase.
See,
Hello,
I didn't want
hello. Hello?
Jeez, man.
Hello? Can you hear
I
me?
didn't want that.
Hello? Can I paraphrase? To paraphrase, he's saying they react exactly the same as everybody else. That's what he's saying. The arguments, the discussion points, they're exactly the same. As are
Right, so
I heard-
as are the
Astro
fundies
Lux
and their
on Space
reactions. As are the fundies and their reactions. It's just in a different language. That's the only difference.
I'm going to say something here that may not be popular with Flat Earther. I don't know how he'll take it. But if you've seen Bollywood in the 80s and you watch that, then there isn't much you won't accept from your government. Because some of the nonsense in the 80s Bollywood movies was such crazy nonsense that if you watch that and you took that on, it's like if you're now of an age of person like me who would have seen those type of things if you're Indian, then I have I know why they didn't put in a whole lot of effort into the illustrations and into showing what
Let me get this
supposedly is
straight.
the
You're
video.
saying
Because
because of the low budget Bollywood ripping off Hollywood and doing musical versions of Superman or whatever, you're saying that low rent type of cinema would mean that the general Indian populace would be more likely to be duped by low res, low crappy video that we saw from the Indian space landing. Is that what you're saying?
Well, if I was the Indian government, I'd be thinking, well, there's no need. We don't need to put a lot of effort into this. The crapper it is, the better, because they have so many people in India. And if you look at Bollywood throughout the decades, like there's been a lot of really B-level Bollywood, C-level Bollywood, as you said, where it's kind of copying Hollywood but doing a Bollywood version. It's so bad sometimes that I totally understand why the illustrations are so bad. Because they only need to sell it to the public in India. I think India is the biggest population in the world now, so they only need to sell it to them.
I really like the
But it
sentiment of
sounds like-
Bollywood
But what I'm
movies.
saying is, hasn't Gravity been shown out there and other Hollywood depict pictures that do better CGI of pseudo space and everything to make it more obvious that could not, even our old 1968 to 1970 something looks, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it's like the internet is out there.
No, that's
They're
not the
seeing-
benchmark. So, yes, I know what you're saying. What you're essentially saying, why don't they do a better standard when it could easily be done if, modern, any low-rent English movie with no Hollywood backing could do a better job? You're right. But why is that not the benchmark? Well, the benchmark is hands across the water, all governments agreeing that they're going to be basically presenting the same thing with the same rhetoric, the same heliocentric religion. So therefore, they all toe the same line. And the standard, the benchmark, is the original moon landing. So the comparable, how it compares is only the standard of how it compared to the original moon landing, because that is the only thing it needs to compare to.
Right, you know it's real because it looks so fake.
Oh, I'm trying to understand, like, so how, if we were in the back rooms where they're making these deals, like, so who decides who gets to have a quote unquote successful mission, and who decides that your mission is going to crash? Right?
We don't know. I mean, we can only speculate about the hidden hand, can't we? I mean, what we do know is that they all agree on the religion that the world will be under, and that's heliocentrism. And part of the fakery of heliocentrism is sending shit to space. So all governments seem to send shit to space. Now, when they say in that process, well, you're going to make it and you're not. Well, I don't know. I can't, there's no way we'll ever know that. Even if we eventually had a turnaround in terms of the actual Western worldview paradigm, we would still never know.
And that's the crazy part, because I'm not sure if it was last year or 2 years ago. Wasn't it Israel that was trying to send something out to land on the moon, and that supposedly crashed, right? And then the one that before that, I think it was China. They don't even talk about that anymore. Like, I think they reneged on the whole thing. But it's like this little conglomerate of people who decide, all right, we're going. So this time, India got the go ahead to tell everyone in the world that your mission was a success. It's just weird how that works out.
I think it's a build-up, Chocolate. It's a build-up. See, it starts years ago with them telling you, because if you go back into 2004 to 2007 time, you will hear inklings about how India's military, are building up, or India's military, supposedly their technology is really much more forward than people realize. That that India in general technologically is really making leaps and bounds. That's what was out on the internet. And then their economy is rising. It's a big build-up to India went from being basically at least a second world country or a third world country into improving itself economically, improving its military, improving itself technologically, to now they're landing on the moon.
Can I just correct some of your terminology? It's no longer acceptable politically to call it a third, second, first world country. Now, I would suggest that is because calling it a first world country would be a throwback to when the worlds were discovered in space. Now, obviously, that's not the current position. So, developing or developed nation is the current standard that you will call these worlds. Why were they ever called worlds? Because that's what we have. But now the worlds that might be or may not be are out in space, aren't they? Space being the sky vacuum. So they've stopped using that terminology about halfway through the 80s.
Yeah.
I
just
forgot.
want
Sorry.
to look it up just to refresh my memory. Yeah, it was called Bereshit, the Israel's first lunar mission and the first attempt by a private company to land on the moon. The mission achieved lunar orbit, but was lost during an April 2019 landing attempt. Right? So they obviously didn't get the go ahead, because if you're going to land a cartoon somewhere, you could just land it and say, everybody, yes, yay, it was a success. Everybody claps.
But because of the
Right.
nature of the heliocentric model, right, all of these transmissions are running via relays, aren't they, around the globe. Well, do you not think it's easy enough to fiddle with the data? Because obviously they're not sending anything into orbit. There is no orbit. So what are they
Of course
doing?
not.
Well, they've got to just fabricate all of the data from space. There is no space. It's like saying, what are we going to do with the transverse trajectory that you take in Narnia? Well, are we going to decide who is successful in their transverse trajectory, as opposed to orbit, when going to Narnia? Like, well, no, anything that exists within Narnia, everything about it has to be fabricated. That's why you end up with things looking of a similar standard, because they've obviously got standards they can't not have. They're just very low, as we all well know. But that standard can easily be met by deception without necessarily informing the person at the relay station, or even necessarily the lower downs in the particular world's government. In this instance, they don't necessarily need to be part of the deception either. You just need an in to be able to control the data itself. Once you can control what information is coming back from space, by whatever means they do that, presumably in this instance via the relay process that every country's under the impression they have to be on because we're turning on a globe, well, that leaves you the control to say, well, once it passes through my relay, or control all of it, the entire network. How do we know that the entire network for communication with space is not controlled by one entity, probably NASA? All communication goes through them. You're like, well, so that gives them an easy way to fake all of it. You know what I mean? We don't know, but I'm just spitballing about what must be done, not what could or how it might be done. You have to fake everything, bar nothing, every single thing that's claimed to come from space. If it's ever got a word like orbit attached, you automatically know that whatever information's going to be presented to you is fabricated. Ipso facto, it can't not be, can it?
Yeah, because with this, India becomes officially the fourth country to ever land something on the moon. Previously, only the United States, China, and the former Soviet Union have completed soft landings on the lunar surface. So India just stepped their game up. They got the A-OK to go.
No,
But
one
it
crucial
allows-
aspect of stepping the game up is the budget factor, because in future they are going to make it cheaper so that even the common populace.
Oh, I love it. So you're getting the same blag we got back in the late 90s. Eventually, you'll be doing it too.
Meanwhile, NASA is still pushing their shit back.
Yeah.
They pushed it back again, I think, another year, 2025 or something like that,
That's it.
2026.
This is a playbook, right? This is just a playbook. They're just running this playbook in multiple different countries. That's all they're doing. It's sad.
But it also does something else, though. It creates a possible enemy to be worried about in the future. Because if in a year's time Joe Biden or whatever says that there's problems with India and America might be going to war, blah, 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 everyone's going to be taking it deadly serious, because in America and then the Western world and the Western media, because India have even landed people on the moon. So India are like You know what I mean? They're dangerous.
No, no,
They're
not-
Hold on,
not
they've
people.
told us they'll do
They're
this.
not-
George
they're not
Bush
claiming people,
Senior.
though.
George Bush Senior did a speech about exactly this, about us being united against the common enemy of the alien invasion. He gave a speech
No, that was
about it.
Ronald Reagan.
Ronald
That was
Reagan.
Oh,
Ronald
was it
Reagan.
Ronald Reagan? My bad.
Yes, it was.
Yeah,
Correct.
it was Ronald Reagan who said,
He
Brian,
said,
you please do not listen to this, but your ears are going to bleed if you do. So you wouldn't believe the kind of news that runs on national television prime time, 9 p.m. news that the entire country watches. So what we were seeing in the days before the landing, that was 23rd of August, that a couple of days before, Luna 25 crashed. In our primetime news, the anchors were saying that aliens crashed Russia's Luna 25. Are they going to do the same with our Chandrayaan also?
my
So
God.
alien thing is becoming mainstream.
they were saying that blatantly outright, that aliens crashed the supposed Russian lunar module.
Yes.
That's what you're saying?
Yes, that's what he's saying.
Yes.
Saying that what would
Yes.
be
Wow.
tabloid back of the newspaper, rag newspaper speculation from the 70s is now 9 o'clock news in India.
Exactly.
Yeah, but that correlates because now over here in America, we got some quote unquote whistleblowers coming out talking about, yeah, we got UAPs, we got bodies, we got all this stuff. I mean, obviously that's been happening for decades, but now it's like in the news again because now we got whistleblowers supposedly coming out and saying that that's a thing. So it meshes. If it is a playbook, it's meshing quite well.
Yeah, we're going
Because
to
now that-
have, according to Reagan, a new world order under a single religion. Well, yeah, we're going to have the order that we're
Nathan.
seeing. Everybody toes the line, and the religion is heliocentrism. We're all going to be under it.
Nathan, 15th August was India's Independence Day. Our Prime Minister, standing on Red Fort in Delhi, said that India is going to play a crucial role. He said it in Hindi, but he used the word in the new world order that is getting created after the pandemic.
Called it.
And he has said it
Ooh.
like
And
3 or
then
4
days
times.
later, they get a successful landing.
This is the order of the new world. The problem is the playbook's been set with us in the Western world, and it's making its way out. But it's already debunked and already looking pretty tatty while they roll it out to all the other countries to try and unite everybody under a one world religion of heliocentrism. That's the plan. This is destined to fail, you realise, right? I know we're on the fringes of the start of it, but we're just going to see this huge lie collapse upon itself as it gets more and more elaborate and spreads out further. It's a crap lie.
Let me read out this real quick from the CNN article I'm looking at. It says Indian Prime Minister, I don't want to mess it up, Narendra Modi, currently in South Africa for the BRICS Summit, watched the landing virtually and shared broadcasted remarks on the live stream. Quote, "On this joyous occasion, I would like to address all the people of the world," he said. "India's successful moon mission is not just India's alone. This is a year in which the world is witnessing India's G20 presidency. Our approach of one Earth, one family, one future is resonating across the globe."
It was so
One-
important. He went to South Africa to watch it. He didn't even stay in India. That's how important.
And the G20 agenda is all over India. Everywhere you can see the posters of G20 and cities are getting cleaned, but only those cities where the leaders are visiting and all the garbage is getting dumped in the cities
yeah.
nearby.
Oh yeah, they did that. They did that here too. Biden went to some city, and I think it was Texas, that's bombarded with homeless and garbage and all types of shit. And he went there for like a day. They cleaned it all up. He went out there for a photo op. He walked around. Oh look, everything's beautiful and clean. They just moved the garbage and all the people and everything down the block. It's ridiculous, man. They did the same shit here. with this weekend at Bernie's president we're supposed to be having. Insane.
Weekend at Bernie's? You're saying he's a walking corpse?
Yes, he is.
Oh yeah, by far.
I don't think so at
Have you
all.
watched this?
Nathan, did you see this man after a speech? Not only did he say, God bless the Queen after speaking in his own House of Representatives and Senator.
God bless the Queen, man.
Yeah, but not only that though, I don't know if it's more than one, but there's a speech where he says something and he turns around and he shakes the hands of invisible people. I kid you not.
That's happened a few times already.
Okay,
That's not
thank
even,
you.
That's not
Okay,
even
so it's
brand new.
happened a few times. Thank
He's
you.
done
Okay.
that- he's done that multiple times. Just turn around and it's like, hey, what? Oh, there's nobody there.
There's so many falls. He's just falling like on just nothing, just falls. I mean, it's
that's
it's
Weekend
pure,
at Bernie's all day. Nick.
yeah, physical and mental incompetence all the way.
I'm not convinced. I think the guy is the biggest troll in history. The same guy was in the Irish Parliament House, right? House of Parliament, reciting perfect poetry. How could the guy, and the minute he went back to America, he couldn't put a sentence together. But he was in the Irish Parliament reciting poetry. I couldn't recite poetry. The guy's a troll.
Wait, was this in his recent visit to
Dublin, yeah.
Hold on, let me just fathom
To
what
Dublin,
Brian's saying. Are you saying it's like the Japanese magician in the Prestige, where the trick that he does is he produces from behind a curtain a massive fishbowl in front of the audience. So he just walks onto stage, takes out a cloth, waves it around, and then there's a massive fishbowl in front of the audience on a table. Now, what they point out in the movie is that when they see him walking out of the stage to get in the car and he's got all his helpers around him, he looks really frail, right? So the one magician explains that this is the act. The act is looking like he's feeble every time anybody sees him. So while we're watching him getting into the car now, this is him performing. Because so long as everybody sees him, generally speaking, looking frail, they will never suspect that he's got really strong legs, strong enough to hobble onto stage, holding an enormous weight of the fish tank between his thighs as he just hobbles on like he looks like all the time. It's just so that one moment when he hobbles on, he gets away with it, right? Well, you're saying the same is true for Biden, right? He's got to act like... Go on.
Better example, though, would be what I call Joe Biden is Kaiser Jose. Remember The Usual Suspects and Kaiser Jose?
Great movie.
Yeah.
Kaiser Jose, because that's what he's like. He's like a man, Verbal Kent in that. Kevin Spacey's character. Yes, where he's pretending to be the cripple when really he is the brains or the boss behind the whole lot.
The only thing I would disagree, because I don't think he's that smart. Like, he's been in politics for like 50 years, man.
Right. So you mean like the
That's how
emperor,
Crazy Soze,
the emperor of the republic, right?
Well, yeah, but he doesn't have to be super smart. What I mean is that he just has to know how stupid the public are. That's all he needs to know. And that's all he has to remember and work off of. Then he's fine.
Exactly.
Yeah. That's why I call him Kaiser Jose. That's what I call him.
I mean, not even to go into conspiracy shit, but I'll do it real quick. Dip my toe in it. There are people saying there are times, and you could kind of see it. There are times when he looks like a completely different Joe Biden. Looks like Joe Biden, but it doesn't kind of look like Joe Biden. And he's speaking in a completely different way. It's Nathan, you bring up the Prestige.
No,
you bring up the Prestige with the old Chinese guy, but I'm thinking it's more like the Christian Bale character.
Right, so
I don't
like
know.
a double. Like
He has doubles, obvious doubles, multiple.
And I hate to go to that direction, but it's sometimes there's videos.
All right, can you all stop interrupting Russian vids? Carry on.
I'm just saying.
I'll take it. That's fine. I mean, I don't know, man. There's times like the same day he's having two different speeches, and he just looks like a completely different Joe Biden. It's just very weird.
Could be a different
Well,
graphics
He's
card.
the
Making
one
any
that has to be
conclusions.
recharged,
Just
and the
be-
batteries have to be recharged because he runs out very quickly.
I was going to make a
Did you
similar
see
joke,
the
but Arwin
clip?
got there first.
Sorry.
I was going to say it's just a different graphics card rendering him, but it's the same joke Arwin made. He got there first.
Right.
No, what I,
Did you see the clip where he's talking to like it's like some kind of a construction worker or something, and the guy is questioning him on his policies, and he starts getting right up in the guy's face and literally he asks your man to don't go outside. In other words, he's looking for a fist fight off the guy. He went from being an idiot to suddenly being very direct and like, I mean, if he did that to you, you would have to literally deal with it.
well,
That-
the
that's
rumor also
Scrapyard
is
Joe.
the rumor also is that like if you want to go into conspiracy theories, which I think this kind of makes more sense, that he takes medicine, and there are times where the medicine wanes off, or he didn't take it, or he does take it, and that's why you see different temperaments of him.
And
That's
and
another rumor.
I'm okay with that. If you want to go into conspiracy, I'm okay with that. It's just, does that change your face? Like, literally change what your face looks like? You look like the same guy, but not really.
I feel you.
Yes.
It's a very weird thing, man.
If
They got-
the
they got-
spirit within the body changes, then the face adapts. So yes,
Oh
one
my
person
God.
can be made to look completely different if there's
They-
if, like what they're feeling like is completely different so much that they're like almost another person. Then they start to look different as well.
posture and everything. Yeah, you're right, Aaron. But like Chocolate's saying though, that's true. That was Chocolate saying that, right? Because I can't see your names about the conspiracy. But yeah, because you can see photographs. Now I don't know if the time dates are correct, but they'll show a photograph of like April 2021 to December 2021, or let's say pre-inauguration to inauguration, and it just looks like two different Joes in the face, in the posture, and everything.
It says earlobes. His earlobes change.
Oh my
Those ain't gonna
God.
make his earlobes change.
Yes, yeah. Thank you. I didn't want to say that because I know how y'all like to tag me conspiracy theorist 2.0. But yes, his earlobes are even different in these photographs. Medicine doesn't change that.
Is this
Yeah,
what you guys do
that's
when I'm not
actually
here?
because there's doubles.
Is this really what you do when I'm not normally here?
Yes, yes.
Not really. But it's Friday. It's Freaky Friday, man. Just you know,
No,
why
you
not?
know, casual Friday.
We could dip our toe into the conspiracies for a second. Why not?
We can do what we want.
Okay.
There's some
Okay.
stuff I could add to what I said, but I literally can't say it here live. I'd have to only say it privately. If I said it, you'd be scratching your head. Yeah.
You want me
I
to
mean
round
that.
out the show, right?
How you need it?
You want me to round out?
No, I'm not looking for that. I'm just saying that the couple of things I could add in, just to add to my conspiracy, would be not something you'd want to say on your show, and I won't say it.
So Brian, I love your Kaiser Soze. I like that. I like that because just like the,
Kaiser Jose, Joe Biden, Jose.
yeah, Kaiser Jose. Because just like Nathan explained to me why the Hindu government would show those pictures despite how technology has advanced, because of just insulting the intelligence of the Hindu populist, or what for whatever reasons they did it, thinking they don't know any better and they'll fall for anything. Same thing. It has nothing to do with how keen and sharp Joe is. It's just that he knows the American public as a whole is that ignorant and naive that they would not be able to decipher that he's playing the Kaiser Jose role.
Yeah, man. I take out my frustration on Twitter by posting what year are we living in and quote Isro's tweets. And that's
Arthur.
all I can do. Post memes and share their links and make funny comments on my Twitter.
Arthur, let me ask you something. Before you expressed the point that the videos and the images that they put out they went out of their way to not express that these are artist illustrations or composites or images, right? So they put these things out to the people of India as these are just real photographs or real video. Is that what you were trying to say before?
I'm saying they left it out in the open without saying anything. Now people are out there so stupid, claiming that they are true, but then the ones who are actually in the know say that it is implicit, it is understood. Who is claiming that flat earthers are the only ones claiming that these are real videos? No one else is claiming that these are real videos. But then there are a few clips that they have released over the past few days. Yesterday also
Isn't that hilarious?
no, but they are
The
real
people that
videos.
believe the shit are the ones saying to other people that flat earthers are the only ones claiming the things we believe are real are real.
Yeah. Sound familiar?
What?
Yeah, that's what
That's
we've
crazy,
experienced all of this.
man.
I've told you, it's just the same playbook.
Oh man.
Yeah, I can confirm on Instagram.
called
That's what I'm getting
gaslighting
to. It's like no
yourself.
one said they were real, and we're like, okay, good concession.
Oh, these flat earthers, these crazy ones, thinks that these are real. Meanwhile, yeah, these are real.
Yeah, it's
You
professional
stupid ass,
trading.
you don't believe this stuff? Flat earthers that are calling it real? What? I don't understand
Professional
anymore.
dating, man.
How do they get away with all that?
The seasoned globe earthers, or so to say anti-flat earthers, are having to equivocate. Sometimes they say that there is enough proof, but then we ask for proofs and they say, no, these are but CGI images. So then they are prevaricating, and I have come across such globe heads also. They do not know what to say after this. And that's what I make fun of. Now globers in India have to defend this shit.
That's how I felt when I saw it. I was just like, oh my god! Imagine being a Glober and having to defend that you believe this. Like I almost felt bad for like the world. Like really, like you really believe this is real? You're gonna purport this out to people like this is real?
And strange enough
Well,
that they are releasing videos like episodes. So the official handles of ISRO are releasing 1 minute clips, 10-second clips of stages, how the rover left the lander, and then a few seconds of clips of the rover walking on the surface of the moon. And they are so obviously done in a miniature studio to create the same effect with flashlights. But that's all they are showing, and it is to be taken in good faith.
but they've
Yeah,
gone
well,
through all the
this is.
arguments.
Sorry,
Charlie,
Brian.
go
Go
on.
ahead.
Yeah.
No. Go ahead.
All right, thanks. I don't have that important to say, but they've gone through all the arguments with NASA because we were the testing ground from 2015 on, 2014, 2015, because when someone says, point out something, let's say flat earthers were pointing out stuff years ago about the moon landing, how it was faked, and this can't be, that has to be a fake. The Globers were given the answer by NASA without them realizing it, that all they had to say was, well, even if that one was fake, the other ones was real, or we know they did go, or they went to the moon, but they won't show us what they actually found. You know, this kind of thing. So there's always an answer that involves them actually going to the moon. It all leads back to they definitely went to the moon, regardless how much you debunk, how many times you debunk videos from no matter where they are, what agency puts them out. The Globers have a playbook in their own head, like a list of answers for no matter what you ask them in that scenario. They'll always lead back to how they did go to the moon, and they're willing to go as far as saying they did go to the moon, but they won't show us any of the footage. Right? They're willing to say that.
Because they don't need to show you, flat earther.
Who
they
are
don't
you
need to show
look
you.
for footage?
Excuse me.
You know what I mean?
Excuse me.
Thing, yeah.
Do we not pay these people? do we not? Do they not take taxes out of our income for that?
Yeah, so for questioning, you become an anti-national. That's a thing here in India. Everyone who questions anything about the government is labeled anti-national. So now the day has come that if you are questioning anything about ISRO, you will be labeled an anti-national because the whole country is celebrating and you are supposed to join in the celebration.
Yeah, because this is a big thing now. Like I said, you guys now have become just the fourth country, quote unquote, in the world to land something on the moon.
Yeah, and it has broken so many records on YouTube also of live watching. And
Really?
all that. So millions of people watching adult cartoons.
Part of my ignorance, Arthur, did I hear you say that anybody that goes against it or speaks against it goes against the nationalism of where? Did you say Israel?
No,
And
anti-nationalist.
Okay. I
And-
must have missed the mic. Maybe on my end, it sounded like it bobbled up. Okay, all right.
so the most common phrase that is an insult or that is a categorization of sorts is go to Pakistan. If you are questioning the government, you better go to Pakistan because things are so
But
bad there in Pakistan.
I can see why they're gonna push that hard though, right? Because of all the times to land, quote unquote, something on the moon, this is probably the hardest time, right? Because you've got more people questioning all of that now than I guess ever before. So this is a pretty rough time. That's why you said like what they're releasing it in like little 1 minute, 2 minute video clips and stuff. They got to ease it out to y'all while saying simultaneously pushing back like don't question this. All right, just put us on the map. Don't question what we just accomplished because that's what's going to be like. It's going to be like the same people in America who we're Americans. We put people on the moon, and nothing you can say, nothing you can show them will ever take that away from them because it's like the home team, yeah, NASA, right? It's the same
So
thing.
an episode that happened before the landing was a famous actor who posted something captioning that first images from moon, and he posted a picture of a chai wala, basically a tea stall owner, someone who sells tea here in India. You find them in every nook and corner. So that was so insulting to the national spirit, national identity of our country that an FIR was launched against that actor and he had to retract and everything. Now a court case is going on. But yeah, that is the level of nationalism that I am talking about. And the day is coming near when flat earthers are going to be in trouble for questioning ISRO. Let's see.
For questioning what?
ISRO, Indian Space Research Organization.
Its role.
NASA. ISRO, ISRO.
That's the word that you were looking for, right, Daryl?
Daryl.
Oh, got it. Yeah, it
That's
must
what I
have been
thought you said.
ISRO.
Israel. That's what I thought you said. Israel. I was like, when did Israel take over India? Huh.
What?
Indian Space Research
My name's not
Organization.
Daryl. My
Is
name's
Yeah.
not
that the name of
Daryl.
the Indian space program? Say it again. Israel. What is it?
Indian Space Research Organization. ISRO, NASA's equivalent.
Gotcha.
Fascinating stuff. Hearing from a different perspective from a different country, because obviously the culture is totally different, so therefore the way they propagandize the people is going to be subtly different. As much as I'm saying it's a playbook, it's got to be nuanced for the country, hasn't it?
Personally, I'm happy that that just happened, and we have somebody from that very country here to tell us like what's going on behind the scenes, like from that perspective. I think it's great.
Is that why they gave it a really bad paint job?
You need that gold finish, man. Come on.
No, man, but from a conspiracy point of view, there is a clear image of the compass and square and compass in the images of the lander. The cartoon that they are showing, it's clearly making a square and compass image in that cartoon.
Do they have pictures of it where it's like it hasn't launched yet? It's still sitting in the warehouse or whatever, the factory.
Who cares? Adam,
yes.
Adam,
I care. I just asked. That's why I
who
asked. 'Cause I
cares?
care.
Adam's finally here. He lacks social graces.
I thought he was going to say, Adam, take us home.
Damn
Adam,
guy.
welcome home. Up,
What,
Adam.
what did he go get some more wine or something?
I've just got a glass. I've just got in from work.
What's up, man?
No, not bad. I've been trying to listen this afternoon. There was a point where I had this really like trippy psychedelic moment that Bev came in and was trying to tell me that his whiteboard is flat. Was that a recording or was that live?
No, he came in, did it again the whole game.
Shit.
Yes,
I couldn't tell because I was so busy, but I just having these deja vu moments and yeah. Wow. What's all that about then? We pressed too many buttons that they've had to send in the
Everybody's got that same reaction. Like, what the hell?
That's what I was going to ask y'all. Don't y'all think this is quite a coincidence since the Jaron Nathan meeting that now they're getting courageous again, or they're feeling like they have to do something about it? Because, like I think Brian said, we're the spread of the truth. We're really threatening a lot of their platforms and a lot of their bogus rhetoric, and so they have to retaliate.
Who are we threatening, and why would if you assume the word
Threatening Bev, threatening.
Now, listen, D-Rose, I'm not that thick. It's just a rhetorical question, something to ponder on. If they're all, coming in, are they the who? Yeah, are these very different people? Dow, Jaron's side, Witsit, Wise, and now Bev. Are they all just independent who's, or is it just coincidence that somebody's deciding to pile on? That's what I'm asking.
That's what I was asking earlier. What's going on? Why is it suddenly all of the seeming flat Earth related subject matter experts are lining up to condemn us? And in the case of Bev, it didn't even seem like he had a point to make other than you're wrong. That was his literal only reason to be here. So you're prepared to make yourself seem incredibly stupid just to hopefully get an opportunity to show that we're wrong. This seems like a really weird thing to be going on, just in general terms. But having it happen off the back of Jaron, Witsit, generally the whole dealio with Dave, being called a scammer, it just seems... Go on. Dell. Yeah, what's going on?
Don't know.
I think it's their own deranged, delusional methodology of damage control. That's what they're trying to do, a damage control.
I think everyone's trying to take their own shot. They're separate shots, right? I don't know. You can't say it's coordinated.
What I'm asking
we're dealing with some fucking retards, man.
Is it just a
coordinated effort?
Coordinate, yeah, or is it just pure random that Bev smelt blood and he thought, I'm going to have him. I'm going to go and destroy him like Witsit did.
I think it's that. I think Bev has sniffed fake blood.
Yes.
And doesn't know the difference. So he sees people who have got hammered going, look how well we won, like they do when they lose really badly. And he's gone, oh, really? Oh, I smell blood. No, you don't. Right, you smell the pathetic musings of people who lost badly here, and that's what they do when they lose badly. Right? They say, look how well we won.
Oh my god. Oh my god, Nathan, I have to tell you.
He thought it was blood, but it was an ass whooping.
It was what?
That's what he smelled. What was the first thing that he get? What was his game with? Okay, science proves stuff, but you have flat Earth proofs. What was it? What was that retard game?
It kind of sounded like he was trying to get us to say that our quote unquote flat Earth proofs are scientific.
and if they are proofs, they must be scientific. So I don't know where he was going with it. Is he that retarded that there's
Yeah,
proofs
he couldn't
outside
compute
of
it
science?
either. He couldn't compute the response. So in his mind, he's got a win lined up, right? When he came out with that. And then when I go, no, it isn't scientific. That's correct. He then repeated the same thing 3 more times because he couldn't compute the answer.
Yes.
And then you told him the measuring something, that would be mathematics. And then didn't he say, am I bugging? Did he say mathematics is science? Did he try to conflate
Yes,
the
he did.
two?
Yes, he did.
From what I
He
remember?
said it's a science. He said it's a science, like making mittens. It's a
Hey,
science.
the fanboy I was talking about that I met, when I asked him, did you watch the debate between Nathan and Jaren? He said, yes, I did. And I asked him, and what do you think? He said, I think Jaren crashed him. So he must be watching Jaren's. He must be watching Jaren's after shows of that debate.
Pure deluded.
No,
then
the people who project, right? The people who
Good.
moan the hardest about getting interrupted, about getting Fundy muted, about, I don't know, having their arguments overcome and that's being censored or shut down or whatever it is they claim. Those are the people that when they witness me suffering that fate, in the case of Jaren, they go, yeah, look how well he's winning. You're like, what the hell? But that's the mentality of these people. They're deranged.
Yep, I know. Yes, sir.
And how do you feel then after that when you say, yeah, Jared crushed him, and then his man comes in, his man Whitsick comes in and concedes that he was wrong.
He was wrong.
How do you square that then? Like, so
I am going to cover that video in one of my live shows soon. But 5 or 10 minutes later, he goes on and on and on about how Jaren did an experiment, but somehow it did not work. But we can do that kind of an experiment, and flat earthers should focus on experiment. I heard so many experiments. I just asked him one question. Are you talking about a scientific experiment? I wanted a yes or no answer, but he went on to explain himself. Yes, there is a hypothesis, and then I'm doing an experiment, and then I'm proving my hypothesis. My one sentence response was, you don't know what science is. Go watch my video yesterday titled, Does Science Prove Anything? Between Nathan and Jen.
Wait, so this person was willing to concede that Jared performed a quote unquote experiment that he fucked up or he messed up. Sorry, Nathan.
No, you are getting it wrong. This person has his head in his arse.
Oh, okay. that clears that up. Okay. I don't know.
Is that the Black Knight?
Well,
Yeah, this is what we're facing, boys.
Yeah.
Hell of a thing.
Where else can we get rocks pushing water causes waterfall from?
No. Today, right, we went back to topography, didn't we?
Yes.
The nature of I had baseline. I had stuttering about a baseline and holding into sea level or just mean bits and bobs. This is where their argument is. It's really, he sat there last night with his mates and come up with a cunning plan, my lord. and that's what they come up with, and it is like this. I mean, this could be Whitsitt, this could be Jaren. I'm assuming I'll listen back to today's. But it's the same thing. What we're doing, we're chopping them off, and they're just denying it. Yeah, denying what level is, denying that his own whiteboard that he's proclaimed is flat is no longer flat, or it is flat, but it's not the point. It's becoming laughable, but it stinks. You know what I mean? It is like running in today or not running in, hobbling in like this is what Bev is. This is the level of attack. And it's very curious why after all the days and explaining stuff, Bev runs in with his flats not real. Flat means hills. Something that
Well,
probably the most laughable and pathetic of all the arguments we've had from flat earthers in the past week. This is the weakest.
You think that Trump's rocks pushing water causes waterfalls?
Oh, at least that was new, and they've sat there one evening over a glass of Merlot and come up with that plan, haven't they? It's fresh. Whereas this is like, yeah, the last time I went in, I got my arms and legs chopped off, was made to look an idiot. I've not said anything for months, and I'll just pile in today and do the same thing. And there's, you're saying you give him a response, and because it's not the response you want, you don't know how to compute. That's really weird behavior.
You're right. There is a difference between Jaron and him. Okay, fair enough.
That's why I called it redundant retardation.
Can I throw?
We're thinking no, Brian.
Sorry. Well, this is something interesting. Something hit me there a couple of minutes ago when Chocolate said something. It makes sense now why Jaron, total sense now why Jaron is trying to work on and Witsit is trying to help him and whoever else, the human fallibility portion, right? The human fallibility claim involving scientific method, because he's trying to exonerate himself. Yes, you nail on the head, Chocolate. He's trying to exonerate himself by human fallibility due to what happened on Netflix. That's what it's like. It's like, well,
it's me.
That's why I asked the question. That's why, because I thought that's what Arthur B was saying, was that, yeah, I thought that's what Arthur B was saying, that this guy was saying that Jaron performed an experiment that he kind of messed up, because that's known, right? This is the guy who's known for messing something up on that, what was it, behind the curve or whatever?
No, but I asked this guy, he was presenting this kind of something, measurement basically, that we do over sea surfaces, and he was urging flat earthers to focus on these kind of experiments. So we just had that discussion about science 5 minutes ago, and now he was claiming an experiment. So this question was warranted. That are you claiming this to be a scientific experiment? So leave this alone. Let me give you the best flat earth proof according to that guy. So he shows, being a proponent of David Weiss, he shows one of his videos from his many videos in which it's a 8-year-old video of NASA and that guy pulling someone's string, and it is so obvious that he is pulling a string, but then Globers claim that no, actually his pinky finger is in his pocket, that's why it feels like that it is pulling. So he shows that video for like 2-3 minutes and claims that this is the best proof of flat earth. And before that he went on and on about, let me tell you, before that he said that before any flat earther goes and debates a glober, he has to know everything about the heliocentric model. He has to know Einstein's relativity and quantum mechanics and everything. But and only people who have that kind of knowledge have the balls to go to modern day debate and debate globers. But then he did not know what an experiment is. So I lost my train of thoughts.
Did he equate quantum mechanics with? Okay, never mind. Anyway.
No, yeah, I got it. So basically his point was, I asked him after watching that ISS video that what kind of knowledge of quantum mechanics and relativity and all those heliocentric shit that you need in order to point out the graphic abnormalities or anomalies, that glitches that you are pointing out, right? So he said that no, this is not the main point of the video. The main point of the video is something like when you apply orbital mechanics to the ISS, it should not be working on the hair of the lady whose hair is flying up in the air. So it's obvious that it cannot happen so, because we have observed that it behaves differently in a zero-G plane. But then in order to put something scientific in it, he used the word orbital mechanics to the hair of the astronaut. So that was epic.
The hair,
This is
of the, the hair of the astronaut. That's in the second law of thermodynamics violation.
yeah. So when a glober asks you what's the best proof, you show them the hair of an astronaut that NASA is showing you a video of.
Which came
That's
from
the
David Weiss's argument, right? Yep, that's
which came from David Weiss, and the
Yeah.
flat earther, big flat earther in India that I'm talking about with about 10K subscribers is the one talking about all such bullshit in his own channel.
So Arthur,
Right.
you are familiar. Maybe you're not familiar, but he has some-
So there was this one occasion when I went to his channel in order to tell them I was debating a glober, and I told them that what is the best flat earth proof? It is celestial navigation. I briefly explained the whole angles thing. And they never talk about such arguments. And they go on and on about all kinds of NASA fakery and meaningless stuff that we have been going on for like 5 years now. I am my 6th year into flat earth, but you guys have been seeing this for even longer. So we need to get out of this. Like Kiwi says, I'm not taking his word. Only Kiwi can tell us when it is coming. But like he says, a reckoning is coming. Only Kiwi can tell when it has come.
I've heard the NASA explanation used as an insult a couple of times. I would. There's a role and there's a niche for everything, and I don't. Whilst we are the cutting edge of the spear in terms of the actual real debate, that's too sharp for most people. Well, in one of my old, school friends groups, they're not having flat Earth. They're really lost this week with the Chinese moon landing. Yeah, they're wrecked. Yeah, when I put things, I'll shut up. You know what I mean? Pointing out bits. This is impactful to those that still believe in the globe, space. Yeah, it's really troubling for their minds to get over what the hell is going off, because they've got to accept it as fake. Then they've got to go look at what they've always supported. This is how it crumbles. These are the first steps. I have no problem with people discussing that. Yeah, it's useful. It's a bit like Alex Jones. Yeah, gets you in there. You might not have to stick around. You might not be the preferred content down the line, but don't decry it for its ability to wake up the sleeping masses.
I put Dell's response because I said we are the tip of the spear. I put Dell's response in Ballbusters. Skype.
And Adam, I agree with you 1,000%. I had said that before. Even though they're not the tip of the sword, they're down in the handle, not even probably the handle, but the butt of the sword. But still, that's why I like that Eddie Banjo still shows those TikTok awarenesses, the revolution, the acknowledgement, the enlightenment is coming. They can't articulate. Even me, I have a problem with it. And I'm older than a lot of the people I see on there, but I'm learning from you guys to help me articulate it to the point where my family looks at me like, who do you think you are? The big words. I'm like, no, it's not big words. It's just that you've been dumbed down and indoctrinated in the education curriculum not to understand and think that what I'm saying is some Einstein, hierarchy thing. Nah, it's easy to learn. It's truth. It's facts. So, but what those people are saying, as far as when they're exposing the harnesses and the things that we did back in 2014, for the harnesses and the video glitches in the background and all of the things like that, that's still positive. That's still a great thing because it shows that even the normies are not accepting it anymore. They're like, no, we're not accepting it. And that's why the Globers like to attack them, because they can then, that's who that guy was talking about. If you're not a quantum mechanics or an aero astronomer or whatever, they go after those small people that use those arguments that we would never use, because then they can debunk it with, well, no, that was his pinky in his pocket. Well, no, her hair was actually, if you see, because then those normies can't really retaliate to it. They can't respond to that because they're like, now what do I say to debunk what Rufus is saying or Dr. Phil is saying? But when you come here, that's why the Globers don't come here. They go out there and they're attacking the normies. But still, power to the normies with their little pistols, pack, pack, pack. While we got the M60s here, QE, They're out there still shooting them down as best as they can. And we have to support them and be proud of what they're trying to do. Because the movement, the reckoning is coming. It's like Arthur said, whether you like it or not, from the smallest to the highest.
That's why it makes sense to have to kind of shut us down, because people, and I'm not saying that it's not a good conversation to have, right? With the NASA fakery and all that, what the hair is doing. I think there's an avenue where normies have to see that, right? I saw it at one point. I've had discussions about it. Great, but I think with the people who believe that stuff, they want to have that conversation all day instead of just cutting it off at the knees and saying you're talking about a lady whose hair is supposedly in a washing machine that's moving around the earth at 17,500 miles per hour in a place that can't exist.
So these are
That's-
numpties. These are numpties.
Yeah, go ahead.
But I have another thing that I can relate with a lot is, like Kiwi says, that they no longer use the word experiment after Michelson Morley or even for Jeremy. Called experiment. I have seen it in my WhatsApp group. I have rebuked them like 2 years ago, and I have been doing it a number of times. But of late, I have quit doing it because I don't. Like I said, I think it has fallen on deaf ears. But I have seen them stop using, or at least being careful before using the word science or scientifically, because those are the words that I always rebuke them for. That don't throw these words around like you don't care. Attaching the word scientifically does not automatically validate your statement. It is meaningless. You don't know what science is. And thanks, Kiwi, for teaching us.
Because like the Globers, you're gonna be asked about it. We're not gonna just let it slide and be like, yeah, science proves the globe, you stupid flurf. Nah, you got science? Show us.
And an example of my growth in knowledge is when I heard Bev ask Nathan, so what is your scientific proof of a flat earth? I was imagining myself being asked, Bev, that I knew how to answer that. You dig what I'm saying? Because I'm realizing now before I was with you guys, I would have just went back and forth, not really knowing the scientific method and what it requires to be scientifically disproven or proven. And I would have fallen into that trap.
What would you have said now?
What trap? They just
What would
chopped
you
their
have
own
said
head off.
now if they ask you?
What trap? What trap? They just chopped their own head off.
Yeah, I know that, but the normie doesn't know that, bro. That's what I'm saying.
Oh, gotcha.
So how would you answer it, D-Rose?
I would say there is no scientific method. What I mean, it's
There's no-
measurement. It's measurements. Celestial navigation, elevation angles.
How do we say it, QE?
I don't know. How do you say it?
I say once you're talking about the earth, it falls outside of the scientific method, my friend.
There
You
you go.
failed.
There you go.
Once you're talking about what?
Exactly.
Once you're
What?
talking about the earth being flat or spherical, it falls outside of the scientific method.
All right, that sounded a little bit better.
That's what he said the first time.
Yeah, but I speak too fast and I go back and listen and I said, damn, what the hell did I say? I wonder why people are freaking scratching their heads when I talk.
That's just because you're Italian.
But that gotcha was never a gotcha. Bev thought it was a gotcha. To say, well,
He thought so.
he's under the misapprehension that I don't know, one of our opponents must have said something along these lines. Think that you can only prove things with science. So therefore, if it's not science, it's not proof. You're like, no, there's all sorts of different standards. The only reason we're talking about science is because day after day after day, we had people coming in and telling us that they got it. And now here we are with the same exact circumstance. Day after day after day, we hear flat earthers telling audiences that they've got science. And you're like, yeah, we've just spent 5 years decapitating globers left and right because they haven't got any. What, you just think we're going to give you a pass? But then someone on the sidelines like Bev hears their rebuttal after they've lost, and goes, oh, so they only accept scientific evidence on flat earth debate? And come in and go, is Moda stolen science? No.
this is what I don't get. This is why I don't get it. Have we been preaching that? No. We've been preaching the exact opposite. And yet we're getting this. So was it, even with Bev's, already been sent packing with that nonsense. There's no rebuttal, and you've come back with the same stuff. Is it straw man, isn't it? It's a straw man to say we only say science proves things. That's because the point that's bothering me is if we'd have not made that categorically clear in the past, which we have done, we've demonstrated there's lots of other ways. We use other ways, yeah? And so to be holding that as an accusation, it's either ultimately retarded or just complete desperation. And I don't know which.
No.
Hey, it's number one. I'd choose one.
I want to say something. The Pittsburgh Steelers in the 70s was a team to beat. Chewy will tell you. They had the steel curtain. They had Franco Harris. They're trying to knock science debate off the top.
He's having his dread flashbacks again. Quick.
What?
He's talking about the ball games again. He doesn't know where he is. Just get the nurse.
Oh, no. I'm making a comparison, and QE can validate it. They were the team that everybody wanted to beat. Sorry, boys, you're at the top. You're gonna face people wanting to take you down.
Yeah,
They
it's
were
just
all
over there.
part of being a champion.
We
They were the
tried.
tip of the spear.
Did you bring the tranquilizer? You did. Good. He's over there.
The tip of the spear. That's correct, QE.
But you know what?
That's not how Dell characterized it.
I like what Adam said, because that's what I was saying on the chats when Jaron and Nathan was going. I was like, did we say only science can prove things, or did we just say science prove things? I put
that's even wrong, by the way.
No.
You know that? No. Yeah.
Asking the question.
That's even wrong, right?
Why is it wrong?
Because that's a reification. That's a reification fallacy. You have to be more specific. Scientists using the scientific method proves things.
Oh,
I was going to say that.
All right. Okay. Well, for the past few times, for this whole argument was the fact that Jaron was saying science doesn't prove things. And then Nathan rebutted, he said science does prove things. And that's why Adam was saying, we didn't say only science proves things. That's the point of what I said.
I thought what you're saying. Thanks.
Pain in the ass.
Yeah. Okay. D. What Q is trying to do with you, right? He's not suggesting that I need telling off when I say science proves. If I just summarize it like that and leave it in isolation on its own, you can bet your bottom dollar he'd be having a go at me. However, in context, when I'm debating with somebody and we've established that hypothesis construction and it's a method and all those things, when you're getting down to the nitty-gritty of summarizing your position and you say, but science does prove because, and then you go through the methodology that a man would be employing, it's implied. But when you state it, you're stating it in a vacuum. And because you're stating it in that way, you're going to get QE jump on you. Ergo, he's not going to have a go at me when you try and palm this off on me because he knows I wouldn't state it like that in a vacuum. That's the critique you just got to take. But don't feel like there's a double standard. Believe me, there isn't.
Got you. He's the sensei. I understood it. I get it. Konnichiwa.
It's not that. It's just the standards generally are high here. So in isolation, you would hope that all of us would pull you up on that. I'm not isolating you because it's you or you doing something. I'm just saying in any instance, when somebody drops something like that in a vacuum, somebody else is going to go, well, that's a reification fallacy. Because we're all of us on the panel, you're the new guy, sorry, it's just the way it is. Essentially, we're all listening out for certain keywords or the lack thereof. Yeah, statements made in vacuums. Things that we're all listening out for these things. And QE's, is the most acutely attuned to it for the most part. So he's going to be the first on you if he's here, right? But the point is, we're all doing it. And eventually it'll be drilled into you too, and you'll be doing it too. And then you'll find you're calling out people for stating what is essentially a reification fallacy. That the point, I'll just relabor the point because it'll get lost. If you say science proves, well, how does it do that? Does it take things out of its pockets to go and buy the equipment to prove it with? No, it's a method. Science doesn't do anything. What is science? Well, in the case of what we cover, natural science, the world, right? It's the scientific method. Well, that method has to be employed by a man. Therefore, as a true statement in a vacuum, men utilizing the method prove things.
And women.
They can do it too.
I get it.
They can do anything.
And kids.
Well, no, that's, I don't know. I wouldn't necessarily entrust a argon pump laser to a 6-year-old, but I mean, you can do it if you want to, you know.
So, am I going to get any social graces from Adam? Or is he off with another glass of wine?
I hope he's off with another glass of wine.
Say?
I was supposed to be going out for a curry with my PC guy, you know, kind of to celebrate 3 weeks of no crashes. And now I'm here live streaming to make sure it's all good as I slowly reintroduce. That's something else, by the way. I don't know if you're all going to hang around still. I would like to actually introduce the last thing because then I can stop doing stuff. In other words, if I turn the next dial, do another hour of live streaming and it crashes, I know it's that dial. Do you know what I mean? So I need to turn that dial, which means restarting the computer.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, right. So with that, I'm going to say to all of you in the members only live stream, a huge, massive, enormous thank you for liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, or if you're watching after the fact, joining as a Nathan Oakley 1980 channel member so you can take part in these members only live streams. I've been Nathan Oakley and I will see you all in the next video.
What a lovely day!